How come that a saint who is not a saint can be so popular in Catalonia, being anchored in her history and traditions? Saint Jordi, also known as Saint George, is a recognized Christian saint in many parts of the world, including Catalonia, Spain, where he is considered the patron saint of the region. However, there is some debate among scholars and historians as to whether Saint George was a real historical figure or simply a mythical character.
Yes. Why? Shall we find out? Okay, follow me. Let's go. The festivity of Saint George, in Catalonian Sant Jordi, or in Spanish San Jorge, is the Saint Valentine's Day in Catalonia. The popular thing here is that to receive gifts as a book, which is also International Day of the Book, 23rd of April, and a rose. Normally, it's the ladies who receive the roses and the men who receive the books. But there is a tradition behind that. But before getting deeper into the tradition and the history, why don't we make a stroll around in one of the most famous boulevards in Barcelona, which is Rambla de Catalunya. Here in the heart of the city, you see that today is a festivity, happens to be on a Sunday this year, but normally it's not a labor festivity. It is just the big day. Well, as you see, many ladies they are carrying their roses, and the amount of people that there are in the streets. We are heading now towards a very symbolic building in the city. You see, there is a lot of traffic, a lot of noise. People are just walking around. This is one of the things that we Spaniards love doing. Just get out to the streets, doesn't matter the excuse, just for a walk.
The story takes place in the town of Montblanc, located in the province of Tarragona, south of Catalonia. According to the legend, a fierce dragon terrorized the town, causing destruction and death everywhere it went. To appease the dragon, the townspeople would offer it a sheep every day, hoping it would lead them in peace. However, one day the dragon became increasingly demanding and started to require human sacrifices. To satisfy the dragon's appetite, the town held a lottery to select a victim each day. One day, the Princess of Montblanc's name was drawn, and she was chosen to be sacrificed to the dragon. As the princess was being led to the dragon's lair, a knight named Saint Jordi, Saint George, appeared on his white horse. He offered to fight the dragon and save the princess, but the townspeople were skeptical. They feared that Saint Jordi would meet the same fate as the previous knights, who had tried to defeat the dragon and failed. Saint Jordi was undeterred and promised to kill the dragon. He rode his horse towards the dragon, brandishing his sword, and charged towards the beast. The dragon breathed fire and tried to attack Saint Jordi, but he dodged the flames and struck the dragon with his sword. The dragon fell to the ground, and Saint Jordi quickly cut off his head. From the blood that spilled, a rose bush grew, and Saint Jordi picked a rose for the princess. Townspeople cheered, and Saint Jordi and the princess rode off into the sunset, living happily ever after.
The bunches of roses. This street where we're now is even more important. The one is crossing to the right. This one that crosses from left to right or right to left is called Passage de Gracia. It's like the backbone street of the city of Barcelona. And I'm gonna do my best here to do a panel of the amount of people that they are walking around. I'm gonna stand here in the middle and look. Look at the amount of stalls in the center of the avenue, and look at the number of zillions of people that they are here. Only the street, that street crossing is the one that traffic is loud, very slow, as you can tell. There's even a chopper up there. You see the helicopter trying to take a view for what's happening in the city. Before taking you to that iconic building that reflects a little bit of the history of the Sant Jordi, why don't we just take a little stroll on the avenue or over the avenue just to see what they are selling in those stands. Obviously, they have to get their license from the city hall. These are books. They are selling books. It's not that you have a few books at home and you want to get rid of them. No. You have to get your license. You could be just an editor or a shop that you just pay for this specific day. Look at the amount of people trying to find their books. There are also authors signing their books. Oh, there is a roses stand here in the middle of the books. Look at that beautiful one. How well kept in that little glass bell. And look at the amount of roses. Look at the bunch of colored roses. These are just magnificent, beautiful. Oh, look at that huge bouquet of roses. Ooh. Well, let's continue going down there because I just want to show you something before ending this trip. It's one of the iconic buildings of the city of Barcelona, and obviously done by one of the most representative artists or architects that have made Barcelona being placed on the map. I'm talking about Antoni Gaudí. Time to cross the street, and okay, that is the building I was referring to. It is called Casa Batlló, Battllo. These blocks or houses that they are part of a block. The name, they got them from the family that they were sponsoring the architect to build the house for them. But this one, specifically this one, as you see today, it has the balconies covered in giant roses because it's Saint Jordi, Saint George. And if you look at the roof, let's get a bit closer. It is representing the body of a dragon, and what you see are the scales of the dragon. The cross that you see on the left-hand side is like a 3D cross that is very representative of Gaudí architecture. You see most of these buildings, and as you see, the beautiful facade with the tiles. As I said, normally the balconies are uncovered and they represent face masks. That's why it's make it the building so peculiar. Very central, always filled with tourists around. This is obviously a touristy area. but it's Passage de Gracia. We give you another panel of the amount of people that there are in the street. We see. Go. The scales of the dragon, the body of the dragon, and the block, the building, the house. Casa Batlló. Well, I hope you like this little story, and just subscribe, like this, and share if you want to. It's been a pleasure to show you this little bit of history, and here it is, the Casa Batlló behind me, just there. Thank you guys. We'll see you in another one. Bye bye.